Hi, Vicki. Here is your reading. Thank you so much for being patient. It's just been a rough week for me. I put Cora down on Tuesday, and then the full moon in Pisces was kind of I was feeling it. So I'm ready to do it today. I have this sort of inspiration or this idea. Um, this reading, I feel like, because you said general, and something's inspiring me to do it in a certain way. So I'm just going to do it and explain to you kind of how I see it, but it's really determined by you and how you choose to utilize the reading. Okay. But this reading is for a period of time. It's a general reading during a period of time. It could be right now if that's how if it fits. But I feel like I want to do like I'll show you as I'm doing the setup, but I'm gonna do like a block of time for you. Is I don't know why, but that's what I feel inspired to do. I'm gonna work with the decks that I've been working with because I really like how they've been paired. And I'm going to do with the shamanic medicine oracle, I'm going to do this is like the overview card or kind of like what would be the grounding stone during this period. It's going to be something you want to focus on and it's going to cover or be above the reading, right? Overseeing the reading, so to speak. Then with this deck, I want to do four cards, each signifying, and this is where it becomes like a block of time where I feel like each week, it's almost like a monthly reading, is how I want to do it, where each card will represent like a week period, right? Starting off that week or the overview, and from there clarifying each period. Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense. So you'll have to let me know what you think if it works. I wanted to do something different for you because you sent such a beautiful. You've been so, first off, so kind and supportive, but also. Uh, I, Sorry, it's just been this Pisces full moon. The fact that you sent me $80, it just was very kind and it made me feel like, valued. And so I want to give you something a little bit more. Okay, I gotta clear these tears away. I've saged all my decks and I've prepared myself for this reading. So I just want to say thank you. So let's get into this. I'm going to move the decks to the side and we're going to get going. So let's look at what does Vicky need to know during this period of time? What is the overview card or what is the theme of this period of time? This period of time may be now, it might be coming in the near future, but I feel like you'll know from these cards if it is now or when it begins. You have access to this reading for a year, so this period of time could surface not only now, but then repeat itself again, right? If you go back and re-reference it. So you might get things from it even later down the road is kind of the hope and the intention. So let's see what's going on. What is the overview for this reading for the week? Wow, I've never seen this card yet, so that's kind of very, very cool. It is Vision Quest and it is Seek. What I love about this gives me Three of Wands energy instantly, where she's staring out to the future and the sun being the fire of the wands, right? I love that she has a package next to her, like there's a gift or a treasure here. And Seek meaning not only are we looking to the future in this card, but we're also in the very much in the present with what we have that's treasured and important to us, what we know, the gifts and the availability of the present moment informing our future moment. That's just what I get just from the design of the card. I also feel like this looks a bit like a volcano in the sense that, and I mean that in a good way, that like new things could be erupting or changing in positive ways. The sun, and this being like giving me fire vibes or wands vibes, gives me this feeling of new opportunities, action, assertion, excitement coming your way, but you remaining calm, present, centered in the midst of it all, right? Even as you're seeking for maybe new answers, new opportunities, you're like almost consciously aware of what it is you are not only seeking, but creating for the future. And I feel like there's a meditative quality to her, which I really like. So it's like we're very, to me, at peace with where we're at and what changes are to come. So let me read Seek to you, just because I've never seen this card and I don't know. And it's Vision Quest, and it's interesting that this comes out because the stone for this week in the weekly readings is that was that word, or no, for last week was that word vision. So, if you have your eyes on a future opportunity or changes or desires, now is the time to go for it, or now is the time to focus on it, to center yourself in the now and understand that you have the gifts and the abilities, the intelligence, the wisdom, all of that to make it happen. A time of abandoning, ignoring, diminishing, and misunderstanding the power of old ways and wisdom is coming to an end for you. On the physical plane, you feel a need to carry on in your set ways as a matter of survival, but this will soon create a state of emptiness, weakness, and fear. A rite of passage, like a vision quest, allows the body to respond to challenge and gives you the strength and vitality to deal with the changes. On a transpersonal level, you are seeking soul knowledge. You want to know who, what, and why you are, as well as the possibilities that lie before you. This knowledge, enriched by the wisdom of the collective unconscious, is the basis of your recognition of your physical and spiritual place on Grandmother Earth. A vision quest is a way of taking the first steps towards knowing your true place in nature. Quest what you seek, and you will return with healing and direction for yourself, your loved ones, and for all of us. Vision Quest revealed. Vision Quests renew and revitalize the human spirit, and the participant, usually alone in nature, engages in fasting and prayer to enter a trance state. They may encounter spirit guides, ancestors, or healing visions. Being alone in nature for days at a time is a powerful rite, but it is important to understand the process and know your responsibilities. Before undertaking a vision quest, examine your motives, take precautions, and be mindful of your physical safety. Other divinatory meanings: become your authentic self, get to know the truth of who you really are and what you are capable of. Don't measure yourself by the deeds and words of others. Your voice must be heard. Don't follow the crowd. You are entitled to your own preferences and opinions. Speak up. Vision Quest speaks. Become the quester of your vision. Where and how is your decision? Meet your guide with their protection, heal your wounds, and change direction. I do get this Three of Wands vibe from this. Like we're looking out to the horizon as to, okay, what is it that we want to create? That vision quest was a little bit intense as far as like your physical safety and stuff. I don't get that. I feel she feels very centered, safe, grounded, and connected to her present moment. So as you're looking to the future or changes that might be on the horizon or things that you desire, I feel like you are okay, safe, secure, and you're aware of that. There's definitely awareness with her, a peace within her that I feel. I also just have noticed this little flower at her kind of sixth and seventh chakra, this blooming of maybe beauty, wisdom, knowledge, awareness, and that could be around ourselves and our own abilities. But I feel like you are very much safe and ready to go. Now, let's get into the timeline. So, what does Vicky need to know for this time period? Now, this time period, Vicky, for each of these cards, I'm going to do 4 cards because I was originally thinking like in terms of a month, each card being like a week. But this could be 4 months also. I'm just now feeling that too. Like each card could represent the month. So um, that's for you to determine as you see these cards unfold and you experience what's going on. I'm also doing this sort of, and it's interesting because Vision Quest, she's definitely looking to the future. I'm doing this could be a future reading. As much as I don't necessarily read future readings, I read more present time. But this could be a period that's about to happen or that you're in the beginnings of happening and then watching it unfold over the course of, say, weeks, months, however it makes sense to you. Does that make sense? I hope it does. All right, so what does the first period of time, what card represents the first period of time of this reading for Vicky? What does she need to know? And I'm going to shuffle in between each of them. That's just how I feel inspired to do. So bear with me. What is the second period of time? What is to follow? What does Vicky need to know as she is on this quest? I'll say the last two shuffles felt very light and airy. This feels a little bit more confused, or maybe questioning, doubtful possibly during this period, but we'll see what card comes out. The cut was very clear though. Okay. And then for the next period, I wish I had enough. I wish I had a higher tripod so that you could see everything, so I could go straight down. But I'm going to do it 2 and then 2. I think will be symmetrical and will work. What is the next period of this journey, of this reading that Vicky needs to know? And as I'm doing this, I'm just realizing now I hear this, or I'm inspired by this idea to lay one last final card on top of all of it, which is kind of what will be your outcome. That just was sort of popped into my head. And then for the next period of time for Vicky. And this is not the end card. There will be one last card that goes over all of this. That is the outcome. So there's definitely a strength with this last shuffle. This last period of this quest comes in strong. It feels like to me. You can see that by by that card blowing away. So let's see what's going on here. And that was a very profound cut. Okay, so now we've got that down. So let's look to the first week or maybe a month and see what's going on here. So we have the Nine of Swords. Nine of Swords is that air of intellect, right? It can be about fear. It can be about doubt. It can be about worry. It can also be about releasing some of those things, right? Nines are about personal completions that we come across, right? And with the Nine of Swords, it's about realizing and releasing, letting ourselves go of any fears, unwarranted bad dreams, situations that maybe we feel trapped by or confined in. And I think that this is the antithesis of this. As we begin to seek, right, or as we begin to look to the horizon, we might need to do some housekeeping, so to speak. No pun intended, because I know that's what you do for work. But we may need to do some housekeeping in our mental space to release ourselves of any fear. And that's maybe some of the protection that is in that Vision Quest card, is that we are safe to make these changes or to attempt these opportunities, to take action when we feel ready and aware. So we might be faced with fear initially, or worry that maybe we can't do it, now is not the right time. We might harm others in the process of our journey, by the choices that we make. But I think that this is not a negative card. This is about freeing ourselves from that, releasing that, doing the work that enables us to come to a completion with whatever limits us in our thoughts, our mind, our communication, that hasn't been serving us. Now let's clarify this. On this, we have the Six of Swords. I'm happy with that because it is still swords energy. This is about moving to calmer waters. This is exactly what I was saying, which is releasing and coming to completion with dangerous thoughts or worries that no longer serve us. The Six of Swords is about moving to a calmer mind, a more balanced form of communication, being able to speak to our truths, right, in a way that's calm, collected. I also love that this boat, which moves us to calmer waters, is in the same position as she is in Vision Quest, right? They're both moving in the same direction. So we're aligning our mind and our thoughts towards this greater purpose, idea, opportunity that exists within us. We have the Eight of Swords. Again, more mind energy. The Eight of Swords is a little bit about being stuck, but I don't feel like this is a bad card. This is about like kind of realizing that we're not as stuck as we think we are. Eights lead us to a sense of sort of understanding also. We may not feel like we have all of the resources, or we may go back and forth in and out of right thinking or a more calm mind, and then feel like we're slipping back into some of the Nine of Swords worry, or is this really the right thing? Is this really the right time? Can I really do this? Will people allow me to do this? These are maybe the thoughts that you will be having, but ultimately, with the Eight of Swords, you're in charge of making that decision. You're in charge of sort of freeing yourself and allowing yourself to continue to move forward, even if you feel yourself falling back during this period, or slipping back. It won't be as bad as the Nine of Swords, right? But it might be like a little bit of self-doubt or whatever creeping back in, and feeling confined maybe by other responsibilities or other people's needs. But ultimately, the Eight of Swords is about realizing that once we take the blindfold off, we're really not as trapped as we think we are. Okay? And then the last card is the Fool. Now, this is, to me, the release of the Eight of Swords and the Nine of Swords. The Fool is major arcana energy. This is new beginnings, new journeys. This is associated with the planet Uranus, and it is about kind of beginning new on uh, uh, a new path. And that to me is this seek, that is this vision quest, right? That is about saying, in some ways, and excuse my language, but this is kind of like, I get this feeling like this is a fuck it card. Like, I can't do this anymore, or I'm not going to fight within myself mentally anymore. I'm going to go with reckless abandon. I am going to release in a powerful way and move forward in a new venture, path, choice, and not fear any longer what it is that may come about. Um, uh, that's some of there's a, like, I don't want to say there's a risk involved. It may feel risky with all of these swords cards going on, but ultimately, you know that the risk is worth the reward. The opportunity is there, and you're willing to take it by the end of this sort of back and forth struggle mentally that you might be going through. Now, let's look to the next period, or the next, what follows after this. We have the King of Pentacles. King of Pentacles is the master provider, right? He is the master manifester. He is the king of the 3D world. He is money, he is jobs, he is security, he is a provider, right? So after we've made this decision of the Fool, my feeling is that we settle right down into that decision in a very profound and strong way. The King of Pentacles is going to be extremely grounded, extremely compassionate and loving, whether that's towards ourselves or towards the situations around us. But we're going to be like, no, this is how it is, and this is what I'm doing, and I'm committed fully, right? At an earth, it being an earth card, it says that you are like deeply rooted and grounded, similar to how she's seated here in this idea or quest, where we understand what we have at our disposal. We understand the gifts and the things that we've learned along the way. And we're settled into it in such a profound way that we're able to make it work for us very, very kind of clearly and grounded and productive. Those are things that I associate with the King of Pentacles. Now, on the King of Pentacles, we have the Ace of Pentacles. Totally new beginning energy, similar to the Fool, right? Pentacles is about, this could be a change in, our money. This could be a change in our relationships. This is definitely the physical change, but whatever physical change it is, and it's oftentimes out of the blue and beneficial, right? We are wholeheartedly in agreement to it. It's like we're making it happen, is my feeling, especially with the King of Pentacles here and then the Ace on it. So there could be opportunity there. Almost, I don't even know why, but I almost feel like there could even be a move here of some sort. And that's why I say a change of job or our relationships changing, but it's not in a bad way. We're embracing that change with that King of Pentacles there. We're even sort of manifesting it or making it happen. We've given up on fighting against it or questioning ourselves or doubting ourselves. We're throwing that abandon in with the Fool, and then we're settling into the groundedness of the King of Pentacles, and then allowing the changes to surface, the opportunities to arrive out of ultimately maybe even nowhere or surprising us in a way, but they're in alignment with what we want because we see Pentacles on Pentacles. Then we have the Three of Swords. It's a little bit about past heartache and pain. Again, we have swords here, but this card to me would indicate, sometimes fear, those sort of things. I don't think that's the case here because we see the Two Pentacles. I feel like this is actually taking whatever it was that we had back here or from our past where we've maybe seen it as a misstep or something that brought us pain or sadness, and we actually use it to inform our decisions, right? That's the heart that's here. That's the strength of the pentacles. To me, it's like we're using our past experiences to our advantage. I feel like this is actually a good card where we're wiser for having gone through what we've gone through. And that's where this Three of Swords shows up. Is it's like, okay, yep, I did that once this way and it didn't work, but you know what? I know better now. And in some way, I almost feel like this isn't as much about the swords in this card as it is about the heart. In the sense that from the knowledge of the past or the pain or the memories of the past, we're actually able to stand stronger in our truth, ground in that, in the opportunities, and use that wisdom or those experiences to grow our love, to grow our compassion, to grow our ability to provide for ourselves whatever it is that we need. All of it is part of this process, right, of the vision quest. None of it is in error, none of it is in waste, is my feeling. And I feel like this is actually serving us rather than hindering us. Sometimes this can feel like a hold back card. It's not a hold back. This to me, that my attention is being drawn to the heart of this card, meaning we've come like full term or full circle with the past and we're okay with it. And now it's time to remove those swords and understand that those swords were maybe lessons or vital to getting us to where we are so that we don't necessarily repeat those cycles or those mistakes. And then the last card is the Page of Wands. Now, what I like about this is he's a page which is very much youthful energy, similar to the Fool, but the Page of Wands is about new creation, right? He's about new beginnings. And what I love about him is he brings me back to this vision quest in this sense of um, use that fire energy, that wands energy, that Three of Wands energy that I get off of this Vision Quest card. And Three of Wands is about like kind of looking to the future and putting in, the idea of the expectation of it coming to us. The page is going to be the excitement and the youth and the exuberance of creating that. The groundedness of the Ace of Pentacles and the King of Pentacles says to me, and the wisdom of the Three of Swords says to me, okay, I'm ready. So, whatever it is, wherever this vision quest kicks in, I see 2 points of readiness. We fight with our mind and our thoughts here, but then we say, fuck it, I'm gonna do it. We settle into our, acceptance of like who we are, what we know, what we've learned, and we start to see those opportunities coming to us. And then we start to go, what other opportunities can I create? What else is it that my soul wants? And we almost start to play a little bit because there's a youthfulness to the page that says to me that like we might be even playing with ideas of what we can create or where we can go with this as we begin to move forward. So this to me feels like an actually empowered and excited period with even more new things to kind of come. We may not know exactly how we're building them, but we understand that they're out there and available to us. And again, I will say this, he is facing the same direction as her in Vision Quest towards this future. Now, the next card or the next period is the Emperor. Okay, more fire energy. We've been seeing the Emperor a lot in the weeklies. He's associated with Aries, but he's definitely empowered, Vicki. He's like that fire energy of high expectation. He is, to me, he's the all aspects of all of the kings put into one, right? But when we see the King of Pentacles here being grounded and centered and ready and really self-assured, this is about being even more self-assured. This is about comboing almost the Page of Wands, growing him, understanding him, and the King of Pentacles, and coupling them together into the Emperor to move forward. Again, the Emperor is also facing what I would consider the future. The Emperor is about making the best decisions for the right reasons, employing the right people to get the job done, meeting expectations that we didn't otherwise think maybe we could. We don't want to cut corners during this period. We don't want to cheat ourselves or anybody around us or allow anyone else to not deliver, right? To not rise to the occasion. The Emperor is there to show us not only how to sort of understand what we deserve, but also to understand what we should expect of others, and then to anticipate that and not accept anything less than it, right? That Emperor Aries energy is also going to be about taking action and moving forward in a, potentially quick way, right? Like just jumping to it. And I think the reason why that is because we have that grounded energy from the previous time period of the King of Pentacles. So we've kind of settled ourselves, done the work, and now we're ready to move forward. Now we're ready to put our plan into action and make the choices and the decisions, employ sort of the right, people, choices, or take the right actions, even if they like push our limits a little bit or others' limits. It's like, no, I deserve this. We're going to make this happen. This is mine. So we have on the Emperor the Nine of Pentacles, Miss Independent. She has everything she needs. We see this reference back to the Pentacles energy back here. This is the stability that we have with the King, kind of coupling with the Emperor. She is about completion cycles too. She's about understanding what she's worth, what she can provide for herself, what she can create. This is also a little bit, and I will say this too, because the Emperor is sort of a solo card and he is major arcana, but they're doing this on their own. We're not necessarily maybe relying during this period on others to give us what we need. We're giving it to ourselves, and doing so from a very clear, concise, powerful way, right? And then we have the Nine of Cups, Jesus. And then I just want to look at the next card immediately. The Ten of Cups. Whoa. This is an extremely, extremely powerful period for you, Vicki. Like, this is the ship coming in. This is you creating this for yourself and for others with the Ten of Cups. But ultimately, I feel like the focus is not necessarily on the others, it's on you. And when you create for yourself through the cups, the Nine of Cups and the Nine of Pentacles, with the power of the Emperor, you're then able to experience sort of like that happily ever after feeling that happens with the Ten of Cups. Does that make sense? I also love that cups and we have both nines here. Cups and pentacles are complementary to one another. They're going to work in unison. So we should feel extremely whole, complete, empowered, directed, action oriented towards our own pursuit of our own emotional and material or physical well being, but also being able to really attain that for maybe ourselves first and foremost. That's going to be the most important thing because that would also be the Emperor's desire. But in doing so, we're able to share that with others and almost better them through our betterment. So anything where we're fearing before falls definitely away during this period. We understand, like, oh, the risk was worth the reward for sure. Now, the last card of this period is the Two of Swords. Two of Swords is oftentimes considered a no. It can be about indecision. I feel like this is about going back inward with oneself and one's own thoughts. I feel like this is a choice. I feel like when she's sitting here, she's still seated in the same position as the woman in the Vision Quest card. She has a blindfold on, but that moon is really, really producing or pulling my attention. And I feel like this is more about, sometimes the Four of Swords is about meditation and going inward, but I feel like this is about going inward and keeping counsel with oneself as you deal with making a decision around something that is important and vital, but it needs to be, again, your own decision. And we see that in the sort of singularity that I feel in this previous period, right? So we've learned to trust ourselves. So now it's like, okay, we go back in and do a little bit of the hard work, or the it's not hard work, it's more like trusting our intuition, our own mental thoughts, keeping our own counsel, right? And then quieting the mind almost in a way to find that answer within, regardless of what outside influences produce, say, need, any of that, right? And there's a strength, I feel like, with this Two of Swords, especially after this period and this period, that says to me, again, we're wiser. We know we can do this. We know we can go inward, find those answers, and make those decisions for ourselves in a way that is profound. I also, with this particular design of this Two of Swords card, it's interesting because usually she's crossed by two swords in a traditional deck, but to me, it looks like she's looking to her truth, right? This gives me a little bit of Ace of Swords vibes, the singular sword sitting in front of her, even though she's blindfolded. But she's blindfolded because, to me, the moon there is her going inward, trusting, like taking out the outside influences and going inward to find her own internal truth and make her decisions from there. It actually feels very empowered. It feels very much like the cooler, calmer version of this woman sitting here. There's like a balance between these two women and how they're positioned. She has this box with this treasure, she has this sword of truth. But to me, they're both looking to the future and one's looking at the sun, one's looking at the moon. There's a balance that's happening there that we actually are embracing down here. So on that, we have the Four of Swords. What did I just say about going inward and being meditative, clearing our mind, only keeping our own counsel? That is the Four of Swords. So that was a little bit of the vibe that I was getting from this Two of Swords. That just sort of confirms for me that this is a period where that's what you should be doing, is to maintain and attain that clarity. And then we have the High Priestess. Boom, Jesus. Okay. High Priestess is Piscean energy. She is also spiritual wisdom. She's secretive, right? But she's the depth of who you are, right? She's similar to this woman seated here, right? She's got the blindfold on. She doesn't care what other people have to say. She only wants her own counsel. She only trusts her own higher self, her own higher wisdom. She is, the deep spiritual secrets of what she knows to be true. And to access those, we need to go inward. We need to do this Four of Swords, even this Two of Swords, and find that truth from within. We don't necessarily have to share that truth outward because the High Priestess holds like her cards close to her chest, but she's empowered, she's grounded, she's a pillar card of the major arcana. So she knows exactly who she is. She's not going to be rocked. She's both emotional because she's Pisces, but she's also highly intuitional and spiritual because she's the High Priestess. So it's like this connection of, our emotions, our thoughts, because we have these Two of Swords and Four of Swords. So our mind, spirit, and emotions are all kind of coming together here in a truth that should be, in my opinion, rather profound and powerful for you. And then the last card would be the Eight of Cups. Eight of Cups is that emotion also that we see in the Pisces influence. Eight of Cups is about taking the high road, moving away from a situation that no longer serves us, right? We might be having to depart or change a course during this time. That might be the choice that's happening here. But as we're doing it, I believe that we're doing it for the right reasons. The Eight of Cups is always indicates like I'm moving on to I'm no longer going to engage in things that are beneath me in a way or causing me pain or sadness. And the reason why I say that is we see that in the learning of this Three of Swords here, right? Where I don't feel like this is a bad card. I feel like this is being wiser for having gone through what we've gone through. This period is about really understanding and embracing what we're capable of and achieving that and really seeing the benefits of that. And then from there, we go in almost again deeper to access even deeper information through the High Priestess. And maybe that deeper information through the meditation of the Four of Swords brings us about to understand emotionally we can't do something anymore. It's just not in our wheelhouse. It's like beneath us in a way. right? And so we need to move in a different direction, in a direction that suits us, that is more in alignment with what we deserve. And this deserve, like to me, with the meditation, okay, to me with the meditation card of the Four of Swords, the blindfold and the intuition of the moon here, and we see the moon again in the Eight of Swords too, and then the wisdom of the High Priestess. This is like a period of truth within ourselves that is extremely profound. And it requires us to honor it in such a way that we take the time to go inward, to trust it, to live by it, and then to allow that living by it and that information, both mental and spiritual and emotional, to indicate what changes we need to make to ultimately move forward in a way that is more sound and more in alignment with maybe who we are and what we deserve. And what we deserve may be more profound than we even realize with the High Priestess here. We also see the Emperor and the King of Pentacles. So there's a lot of in my opinion, there's a lot of authoritative figures in this reading that are not demanding to be honored, but they're about to be honored during this period. Even the Fool is a power player, but the Fool is oftentimes youthful and doesn't understand his power, doesn't understand the door that he opens, right? Doesn't understand the journey he's about to go on. He's excited and willing, but he doesn't understand that. The Emperor, the King, and the High Priestess all do. So there's a depth of like an awareness of who you are and what you're capable of that's happening during this time period that I believe you need to honor and you need to act upon to watch things not only benefit you, but also to watch how we may need to change how we honor ourselves or the choices that we make going forward. Now, what is sort of the card for the final outcome for this reading? Final outcomes too, Vicki, are not necessarily set in stone, just so you know that. If this card is something we don't like, we can always use it as a warning to make choices and changes to affect the outcome. But this just gives us a little idea of where this is all heading, you know, as the cards stand right now. All right, I'm going to say before I pull this last card, and I may clarify it, I'm not 100% sure, it depends on what the card is. I'm going to say this because I'm doing this sort of like a predictive kind of forecasting for you. If this is weekly or monthly for you, right, this timeline, because I don't think it's going to be yearly because you're only going to have access to this video for a year. So I can't say this is like the next 4 years. I mean, if it is, I would be surprised. But expect to be challenged to a degree in the beginning of this, whether it's the first week or the first month or the first 2 months, right? If we find ourselves going back and forth in our thoughts, how we're communicating, this could be some Mercury retrograde energy too. Also, these Three Swords cards here, we do get free of it. And remember that. And when we get free of that, we start something new, we get excited and feel jubilant again. Then we settle into this awareness of very grounded creation and what it is we want, and new beginnings start to form, and the wisdom of the past comes in to aid us to be able to create more of what we desire. Okay, so if that's the second week or the second month or the second 2 months, that's what's going on. So I see this as a very much a positive time, but also a time of building and an awareness of that's why I went through what I needed to go through to understand how to best step into this new situation. This period here, gangbusters, sister. Like, get ready. Own everything that is yours. Pay attention to all of the things that are benefiting you. Pay attention to all of the decisions that you're making. Do not cut corners. Live to your highest authority. Expect others to do the same. If they arise to those occasions, great. If they don't, let it fall away and just stay focused on you. it's all going to line up. And in the process, those that do rise to the occasion or that are around you and that support you during this, they will also see the shifts, the changes, the positivity, and they will benefit from that experience also. Down here, I feel like this is definitely a more of an introspective time, but there's a depth and a wisdom that comes out of this period that almost beats out everything. Okay, this high priestess, even this eight of cups, it says to me that oh shit, and I don't mean oh shit in a bad way. I'm saying oh shit like in the sense that what she learns here is a byproduct of everything else that happens leading up to this. And there's like an extra layer, an extra depth to this, an extra secret or spiritual connection to this that is powerful. And it'll be interesting to see where this takes you beyond, because it will be actually the next layer beyond this, and this should feel incredible. Okay, so here is our outcome. The Nine of Swords. Okay, we are going to clarify that because we start with the Nine of Swords. And so I don't want you to get caught in the worry of what it is. How do I want to say this? I don't want you to get caught in. How do I? Okay. I feel like this. I know this is supposed to be an outcome. I am going to clarify it, but I feel like this is a warning. This warning is don't stay stuck here. This warning is like, don't. Sometimes when we care too much, or we're empaths, or we're too giving, we can give too much of our mind, our heart, our space over to others, and we lose sight of what we're worth and our value is, and what we can create. And when I see her here, it says to me there's a little bit of a warning here that we could stay stuck in this cycle longer than we need to. We won't necessarily always be stuck in this cycle, but we want to get out of this cycle to move to these things that are to happen beyond that. This says to me that there is a possibility that maybe there is responsibilities, needs, expectations of others around us. That's these swords around her head that rent space in our mind. And we may fight against knowing what our truth is, or freeing ourselves from those worries to get to that truth. And we need to do that. We need to seek. We need to challenge ourselves. And that's kind of why the Nine of Swords shows up in the center here is we need to challenge ourselves to get free of this. It's important because there's a lot to be had in these other sections of cycles or time. Now let me see what the clarifiers are on this. Temperance, I love it. Six of Pentacles, and the Empress. Girl. Oh, okay. So stop fighting within yourself. There is a beauty within you. There's a balance. There is a reciprocity. There is a powerful woman that exists within you. She's here in the High Priestess also, that wants to come forth. And it will, right? But we are challenged by how it's something to the degree of either how others treat us, how others perceive us, what others' expectations are of us. They limit us. And so we don't want them to limit you any longer. It's not appropriate anymore. And so if we harbor any fears, worries, is this the right decision? Should I do this? Will this upset them? Don't do that. You're going to be challenged by that. You may already be being challenged by that, but there's this feeling and this desire to seek more within or outside of you that you need to, like I said, she's centered and grounded and in her present moment, and she understands she deserves what's out there for her. So let her have it. Let her seek it regardless of what others may say. When you do that, when you meet that challenge, when you surpass that challenge, when you let go of those thoughts, those worries, that sort of static in your mind, or the messages you're getting from outside sources, there's a beauty that opens up. Temperance is Sagittarian energy. The Empress is associated with Venus, the planet of love, on the sign of Taurus, right? And the Six of Pentacles is about balance, reciprocity, um, uh, equanimity. I almost want to say, and I could be wrong about this, you can certainly inform me if I am wrong about this, but when I look at the possibility of these cards, when I see this Nine of Swords and then I look at these three cards here, they are like beyond this, right? It almost says to me that there's a theme somewhere here where either we don't see ourselves as equal, or there's others in our lives or their requirements of us that don't allow us to rise to who we are. And in doing so, we may alienate them, or we fear alienating them because we are so powerful. And that is what you need to be seeking and what you need to go after, um, because there is a gift here, there is an opportunity here, and you actually serve yourself and them better by accessing that and continuing to access that and continuing to go to the depths. If you find yourself doubting or worrying or fearing along the way, that's normal, but don't let that fear be the predominant focus. Understand that underneath that fear, there is a calmness, there's a patience, there's a gentleness, there's even an angel, right, that protects us. There is a balance, there is a grounding, there is an earthy sort of give and take that needs to be there. Even if people can't give to you, then just take what you need and keep moving forward, because who you are is this like earth mother provider, and she's also very much in alignment. I mean, she's not the king of the queen of pentacles, but she is like beyond the queen of pentacles. She's like the queen of pentacles bigger sister, but we have the king of pentacles over here. So there is this grounded sort of loving powerful manifester within you that you need to allow to let out, is my feeling. And in doing so, that might be some of what this choice or change is that's happening here further down the line. Because when you start to experience the brightness of who you are and what you're capable of, you may find yourself being challenged by those things, because oftentimes the emperor, like I said, he has expectations that people maybe can't live up to or find fault with, and they have to fall away. The emperor has to hold true to what he knows to be true and what he knows he deserves. And so when those benefits start to come in, and that belief in oneself and the joy starts to come in, others may be alienated by that or have problems with that. And that may be what leads you here to finding that, again, having to revisit, make a choice, and go inward and find answers that are only yours, not the hubbub of other people, their thoughts, what they think you should do, how they think you should be, how they perceive you, because ultimately those things limit you. I hope that makes sense. Again, I really want to thank you for all of your support, all of everything along the way. And thank you for purchasing this reading. Please let me know what you think. I'm dying to know if it makes sense, if it resonates. I'm interested to know about the timeline. I know that you go back and watch my readings, so this could be something that could happen over a period of time. But it looks like it's a very transformational period of understanding one's own true self, and not only what we're capable of, but also what we deserve, and then living by that and releasing old, thoughts, communications, ideas that limit us or that have hindered us for quite some time. Okay, I love this reading for you. I hope that you enjoy it. I hope it makes sense. I will send it over now. And again, thank you so much, Vicki. Like, you don't even know. Thank you so, so much. I need to value myself more. And when you sent me a little extra money, I was like blown away. It just told me I've been thinking about raising the prices of my readings, and then you kind of confirmed that. Take care. Bye bye.